I am the Decay Echo, and this is your invitation to witness the unfolding of a narrative that refuses to fade into the silence of oblivion, a narrative as eternal as the whispers of decay. Let the journey begin, and may your curiosity be as relentless as the march of time. Now, traveler, let's venture onward to discover myths, legends, facts, and forgotten history.
Welcome to Veils of the Arcane, 10 obscure faiths lost in time. In this journey through shadowed corridors of history, we uncover forgotten belief systems veiled in mysticism and steeped in ancient mystery. Tonight, we peel back the layers of time to reveal hidden rituals, cryptic deities, and esoteric practices that have slipped through the cracks of mainstream history. As we delve into these obscure faiths, prepare to traverse sacred sites shrouded in darkness and to listen to the echoes of long-lost incantations. Each faith, with its own unique blend of shadow and light, offers a portal to a world beyond our understanding, a reminder that the divine, in all its mystery, has many forgotten faces. So, open your mind to the secrets of the past, and let the veiled whispers of these arcane traditions stir a new sense of wonder, and a touch of the uncanny, inside you. Welcome to the ancient Basque religion, a brief journey into a realm of forgotten deities and mystical rites. Here, ancient echoes of pagan traditions resonate in rugged landscapes and whisper secrets of an age-long past. The ancient Basque religion had several deities, but centered on a great goddess named Mari. She was seen as both a kind, compassionate goddess and a wrathful, destructive one. She could just as easily deal out lawful judgment to the wicked as well as cause violent hailstorms for no apparent reason. A subterranean goddess, ancient Basque believed that her underworld home was a kind of paradise that influenced the world via caves and holes. She, and other associated beings called Lamanak, affected human affairs by reciprocity. The Basque culture in general was very concerned with truthful, cooperative living, and Mari and the Lamanak would step in to thresh out any dishonesty. One story says that if a farmer tried to withhold some of his crops from those in need by saying that he had less than he did, either Mari or the Lamanak would take them away and leave only what he had said he had. The rest would be whisked away to Mari's underworld abode to supplement her great wealth. Welcome to Celtic mythology, a realm where ancient deities, eerie landscapes, and timeless legends converge. Step into a world of fairies, druidic magic, and heroic tales that echo from the misty isles, inviting you to explore secrets woven into nature's very soul. Many of the details of the various Celtic religions have been lost to time, and most of what we know about them has been clipped from Christian or Roman sources. There are plenty of variations in the religious practices of the individual Celtic tribes, and it's hard to patch together the pieces into a coherent picture. We do know that bogs and marshes were considered sacred, and valuables were often sacrificed in the murky waters. The Druids presided over such ceremonies, but very little is known about them except for their extremely powerful influence on the Iron Age Celts. That same influence led to the lack of modern knowledge regarding them, however, as the Romans tried to stamp them out after they seized control of the island. Some sources remain, though, and we do know of a number of gods that the ancient Celts worshipped. The high god was the Dagda, renowned for, among other things, his enormous penis and potent sexuality. Despite being portrayed as rough and ill-mannered, even leaving his genitals exposed on occasion, he mated with several female gods, once even ensuring victory for his people with his sexual escapades. Welcome to the ancient realm of Anatolia, where the Hittite Pantheon looms, a mosaic of deities from Hittite, Hungarian, and Mesopotamian origins. Discover a world where every god and goddess wielded elemental power, commanding both cosmic order and untamed chaos. The Hittite religion called itself the religion of 1,000 gods, due to its large number of deities, many of which were only worshipped by individual villages. There were hundreds of local gods, many of whose names have been lost and are now only known through images. The Hittites were quite open with their pantheon, both recognizing and even adopting some foreign deities. Despite the vast number of gods, though, several appear to have reigned supreme. The chief gods were a thunderbolt-hurling sky god, quite similar to Zeus, and his wife, a mother goddess revered as his equal. The Hittite religion appeared not to have discriminated between genders. One of its myths is the vanishing god of agriculture who leaves the earth for a time and causes a period of scarcity, much like the story of Persephone, Demeter, and Hades. As the text is incomplete, it isn't known why the god leaves except that he was angered for some reason. After numerous gods attempt to find him, the mother goddess succeeds by sending a bee into the fields. It finds him and stings him to wake him up, then the other gods appease him with gifts to restore the world to its previous state. Welcome to the enigmatic realm of ancient Hungarian religion, a brief journey into a mystical world where nature's raw power meets sacred rites and timeless legends. Little is known about the ancient Hungarian religion. A good deal can, however, be retrieved from existing Hungarian folklore, such as the belief in an upper, middle, and underworld supported by a sky-high tree. There were several gods, including the evil Ordog, and Boldogaszony, who was originally a Hungarian goddess but whose name was later transferred to the Virgin Mary on the advice of a Christian evangelist in Hungary. What is known about the Hungarian religion, though, is the importance of its shamans, the Taltos. They could climb the sky-high tree and act as a conduit for the gods. Shamans were chosen by birth defects. Those born with minor abnormalities like extra digits and natal teeth were believed to have been part of the divine order. The shaman had a wide range of powers, from communicating with animals to superhuman strength. Interestingly, while the religion from which the stories sprang has been lost to time, there are still practicing Taltos today who keep both the old folktales and the ancient customs alive, though some have begun to adopt shamanistic practices from other cultures as well. Welcome to Neoplatonism, a brief dive into cosmic mystery. Born from Plotinus' insights, it reveals a universe emanating from a single, ineffable source, the One. Based on the works of Plato, Neoplatonism was largely created by the scholar Plotinus, who sought to correctly interpret the ancient sages' writing. Followers of Neoplatonism believed in the One, the source of all life. The One was not considered a being but rather an existence beyond all understanding. Neoplatonism held that matter, the physical world, separated us from the One and was thus evil, but only in a metaphysical sense since matter also sprang from the One, the source of all. Neoplatonists also believed in a world soul, an intrinsic connection between all living things on the planet. All humans, and even plants, contained souls, but those souls were not wholly imprisoned within their physical bodies. It was believed that part of the soul resided in the body while the other part retained its connection to the greater world soul that encompassed all living things. Neoplatonism stressed that higher plane should be the focus of contemplation, not preoccupation with the physical world that some souls descend to. Welcome to Orphism, a mystical plunge into a shadowed religion born from the enigmatic verses of Orpheus. This ancient cult invites you to explore the eerie dance of death and rebirth, where divine secrets and cosmic mysteries converge to challenge everything you thought you knew about life. Orphism, so called because its beliefs were contained in religion's poems composed by the musician Orpheus, sprang from Greek mythology. It centered around an alternate version of the creation of man that had Zeus fathering a child with his daughter Persephone. The child was named Zangrius, and Zeus intended to make him ruler over the other gods. The Titans, however, grew jealous of the future leader and devoured him before he could take his place over the pantheon. Zeus smote them with a thunderbolt in his anger, and from the ashes were born the first humans. According to the tradition, man inherits the divine soul of Zangrius, but the devouring of the god is similar to an original sin. Man must live out several life cycles of reincarnation before being purified and reborn into bliss in the other world. The followers of Orphism had a number of taboos, many of which stemmed from their belief in reincarnation. Meat eating, for example, was prohibited because it was eating another being. Wearing wool was also prohibited, though that was part of a larger belief system shared by several of its religious contemporaries. Pregnancy was also discouraged, as it was viewed as the imprisonment of another soul in a human body. Orphism's strict taboos made it a hard sell for many, which might have influenced its eventual disappearance. Welcome to a brief journey into pre-Islam Arabian religion, a realm where ancient polytheistic traditions and mystical rituals ruled the sacred deserts and bustling oases. Long before Islam reshaped the cultural landscape, the people of Arabia venerated a pantheon of deities at revered shrines, weaving a complex tapestry of faith and symbolism that still echoes through the ages. Eventually put down by Islam, the indigenous religion of Arabia included many local deities and one chief god, Hubal, who reigned over them. Prior to Muhammad seizing control over it, the Kaaba in Mecca, the pilgrimage spot for modern Islam, housed the images of several hundred such gods. According to Islamic belief, the structure was originally built by Abraham, but its keepers later placed the numerous other idols inside. Hubal especially seemed to have been a preoccupation for them, as they are believed to have indulged in divining by casting arrows before his golden-handed idol. After seizing control of the Kaaba, however, Muhammad expelled the idols from the site. Arabia's indigenous religion valued poetry and story. Poets were respected because their works were believed to be of divine origin. According to the belief system, poems were inspired by jinn, or spiritual beings, and their magic flowed through the mouth of the poet. The love of words can still be seen in the Arabic writing system, which was carefully developed with special attention given to pronunciation in order to accurately preserve the spoken word. Welcome to a brief journey into the heart of ancient Mesopotamian religion. In the land between the Tigris and Euphrates, early civilizations wove intricate myths and rituals around powerful deities, shaping the very essence of life and order. Sumerian cuneiform is believed to be the earliest form of writing, and the Mesopotamian religion is the oldest in written history. It had a pantheon of over 2,000 gods that had to eat and drink, and often drank too much. Divine banquets were held where it was believed that royalty and the gods interacted over the feast. During one such banquet, thrown by the high god El, it said that the chief deity drank to the point of slurred drunkenness, for which he was chastised by an apparition and stricken with diarrhea and uncontrollable urination. Judging from that, as well as another deity who got angry at a maidservant's lewd behavior at said banquet, we can safely say that the Mesopotamian gods knew how to party. In Babylon, one of the more interesting practices was temple prostitution. Although the particulars are a matter of debate, some scholars believe that, in ancient Mesopotamia, prostitution was sacred and sex was a natural force that benefited mankind. The cult of Ishtar, another Mesopotamian deity, recognized sex as the embodiment of its goddess's power and, for the right price, offered lots of it in her temples. Welcome to the ancient world of Slavic belief, a realm where mysticism and nature entwine. In this brief journey, we uncover the pagan traditions and enigmatic deities that once governed the sacred forests, rivers, and skies of Eastern Europe, inviting you to glimpse the magic and mystery of a long-forgotten spirituality. The somewhat loosely knit indigenous Slavic religion was characterized by its worship of many-faced gods and its nature-centric rituals. There were many gods with many heads, each representing a different aspect of the god's power. One major deity, Svantovit, a possible candidate for a supreme god, was at once both god of war and fertility, and in some records had both male and female heads. As with many lost religions, however, most knowledge of the ancient Slavic pantheon disappeared with the arrival of Christianity, although Christianity also introduced writing to the formerly orally based culture, which is how we know about its beliefs at all. Worship of Slavic gods continued after Christianity's arrival, but over time the local gods began assuming the faces of Christian saints. Eventually, the original beliefs were swept under the floorboards of the church and largely forgotten. Parts of the indigenous Slavic religion have, however, left their mark on Christian holiday tradition. The ancient religion might have gotten lost within the robes of Christianity, but some practices underwent very little change. Painting eggs for Easter, for example, is believed to come from the festival honoring Jarilo, the Slavic god of vegetation and fertility. Welcome to Pre-Shinto Japanese religion, a brief journey into Japan's earliest spiritual tapestry. Before codified rituals and formal shrines, ancient practice revered nature, spirits, and ancestors through raw, unmediated connection. Explore the mysticism that laid the foundation for a tradition still echoing in every sacred wood and waterway. Prior to Shinto's establishment in Japan, it seemed that the Japanese religion was shamanistic. There are numerous tales and records of a half-mythological empress, Himiko, or Pimiko, a shaman who bewitched her people and practiced divination by burning bones. At that time, Japan did not have a formalized writing system, so what we know of early Japan comes from Chinese sources and archaeological evidence. Numerous burial mounds have been found that belong to the wealthy and influential. The mounds are covered with sculptures called haniwa, which archaeologists believe represented the deceased servants and possessions, or perhaps their guardian spirits. Without written records, no one can be completely sure. The practice of placing representations of possessions is believed to have been taken from China, somewhat like the famous terracotta army. Regardless, the death rites and funeral practices recorded by the Chinese show a large concern for the afterlife in pre-Shinto Japan. Later records show Japan's prehistory religion slowly developing into Shinto, particularly its imperial family's claim to divine ancestry. Though records are scant, it's clear that Japan's king at the time considered himself a relative of the gods. One Chinese document shows him claiming to take care of all official business before dawn, then handing the affairs of state over to his younger brother, the sun, once he had taken the sky. Certainly it's one of the more imaginative excuses we've heard to get out of work, and the ancient Chinese emperor would seem to have agreed, calling the practice extremely senseless. Our journey has taken us through a fascinating tapestry of forgotten faiths, from ancient polytheisms to mystical philosophies, that each unveil hidden realms of spirituality, nature, and cosmic mystery. Each tradition contributes to a broader picture of humanity's eternal quest for meaning, challenging modern perceptions with its unique blend of ritual, myth, and mystery. If you'd like to dive even deeper into any of these religions, please comment below for a true deep dive into the secrets of that faith.
And so, our descent comes to a pause. But remember, the crypt holds secrets yet unspoken, a forgotten chronicle awaits, one that will twist our understanding of history even further. I am the Decay Echo, and until our next journey, let the whispers of the past guide you deeper into the shadows.